Hello everyone, Dr. Stephanie O'Hare here for a heart-to-heart session with Mrs. Princess Nna. Actually, we had Mrs. Princess Nna in the True Love Relationship Conference that holds every year in February. And we've been holding this conference for about 17 to 18 years. But then the heart-to-heart interactive sections that we usually have started 1996, and it's about 29 years for now. So the conference is about 18 years, and that's when you came up in one of the conferences to ask questions. Let me just let everybody know that these conferences, they're genuine because it's about real people, real experiences. And over years, we have allowed people to genuinely come and air their views. And we have a panelists that seasoned panelists, and sometimes counselors, sometimes doctors, depending on the topic or the theme of the year that we are dealing with. We've had the likes of Ferra Durotoye there, Tara Durotoye. We also, just recently, the one you came to talk was that of Choma Jesus. So we have had a real Warri Pikin. So it's a real people's experience kind of forum. And we invite people to just air their views, ask their questions, and then they'll get the responses. And I'm Dr. Stephanie O'Hare, a relationship coach, a counselor, marriage and family counselor for over 25 years over. So I thank God for what God is doing with this program. Quickly, I called you back to kind of expatiate over the question that you asked, in the True Love Relationship question. You to really expatiate on the relationship between your mom. That's where we had plenty of the comments. So I would want you to expatiate that.
Okay. I actually asked that question for closure. I've been hurt. I'll be 31 years this year, and I don't know if I will say all my life. I've been wishing and longing to have, a relationship with my mother. Okay, when I hear people say a mother's love is unconditional, a mother's love is very, very good, sacrificial, I don't understand that concept, because in my own time, I've never seen my mom go the extra mile for me. When I see people say their mom used to do this for them and all that, so it's strange, because growing up, it was my mom, my grandmom, and then my dad. So I'll talk a little about my childhood. When I was a child, I know I used to be very sick. Very, very sick, to the point that most times, now when I'm saying this, my experiences, I'm not saying it from what my dad told me or from what my grandmom told me. I'm saying it from what people outside, people like some of my village people, when they come, they say, so this girl finally made it, she did not die and all that. So when I hear it, I go back to ask questions.
In other words, you're saying this based on the stories and the questions and comments made before you. So it's not basically that your dad is telling you what to say. But like, for instance, if a visitor comes in and just say, so this child, I knew you when you were small and you were so sickly, we didn't even think you would survive, so now you're surviving. So things like that really helped you to gather your story and your relationship about your mom. Okay, go ahead.
There is this woman that my grandmom used to keep me in her place when she's going to Aba for her business. So one of the days, the woman came. Okay, I came back from Port Harcourt, and the woman came, and then some other women, like, how village people. My dad is from the east anyway, so there's this, you have to buy bread for them. So when I bought the bread, there is a particular woman that came and collected that bread, and then this other woman collected it from her and said, so you want to eat bread that is coming from this same girl that you were mocking my friend with. My grandmom said when I was very sick, when my dad brought me back, I used to be very sick. So whenever they have a village meeting, they won't allow her to sit inside the hall because I had sores all over my body. So she would have to sit outside and listen through the window.
And perhaps you would have been crying and disturbing
Yes.
them, yeah.
So they treated her like I had one leprosy or something.
Okay.
Yes.
Infectious disease.
Yes. So I could remember very well when my grandmom would wake up in the night and she's praying to God that I should not die. Let me not even talk about it because I don't want to be very emotional. I want to also talk about my dad. My dad has been like a pillar to my life. My dad has been my husband, my first love. He has been like a paracetamol to my headache and all those things. So yes.
So he was there for every situation,
Yes,
and all that.
if I'm not feeling fine and my dad shows up, that sickness will just automatically disappear.
Yes.
I went through a lot with my dad.
So like every daughter seem to like their fathers actually. I'm just saying averagely, because some people will start asking questions and now commenting, my father this. I'm just saying average, a lot of people, and they would want to marry a man like their father. So that's what I've seen in counseling. It's just like that. But anyway, your experience is quite a painful one, and you have deep memory concerning what actually happened. So now, go on with your father's relationship.
I just remembered when I had my first baby, and I went to see my dad. I wanted to repair my car because he's an automobile electrician, like I said before. I wanted to repair my car, and then when I got there's a man that came to also repair his car. So the man was like, "Madam, well done." And then he was talking to my dad. My dad started laughing. So my dad was like, "You don't know her?" He said, "Is this not your wife?" My dad was laughing. And then my dad said, "No, this is Princess now." He said, "Who is Princess?" That my daughter. The man, I'm not trying to mix word. He sat on the floor. He just sat on the floor. And then when he stood up, he was like, "This girl survived it." And then he held me. He was now the one telling me my story.
Wow.
He was the one. So I had to even ask more, because the truth is, my dad does not sit me down to say, "Hey, this is who your mother is. This is what she did to you." I experienced it. I grew up asking questions because she was not there. She has never been there.
So you were asking your dad questions.
I would always want to
happened?
go back and ask, because I would say, "Is it that she hates me? What happened?"
Did you ask your mom questions? Did you?
I've asked her before. She said, "Don't worry. One of these days, I will tell you. One of these days." But I had to just let it slide. But not because I wanted to, because I felt that no matter what has transpired between she and my dad, I shouldn't be in the middle. I shouldn't be the one receiving the
fire.
Yes, I shouldn't be the one. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I know that sometimes marriage or relationship can be very overwhelming.
Yes.
At some point,
and you have relational dynamics that go on between couples or partners, and then you shouldn't be a victim when actually you were just born. And this is what we say when people get married and they are struggling with their relationship, and there might be a divorce there or a form of separation. You should take into cognizance the aftermath of the separation and help the children buffer the pain. Go through the rigors of separation and also help them buffer the pain. I guess that's what you're looking for, because you already have your dad, but now you're not seeing your mom, and the emptiness is creating some form of vacuum in your life, and that's why you now sought after your mom. And let me hear from your mom's side, have you had any contact with anybody, and what are they saying? Because the first video that came out, a lot of people were saying many things that were not realistic, many things that were not true. So there was this trying to find out, did you say this so that you can go viral? Did you do that? So I want you to talk about it, because I wanted to say that this is a simple program that we just had and didn't have anything about being viral or not being viral. We wanted to heal people. We wanted to reach out to people with this same kind of condition and then touch their hearts if they can find solace in whatever advice we give so they can be better. So it had nothing to do with getting the video viral, but we just help people. If you check our channels, you can see tons of videos there that we have been doing with all the other things and still doing. So, but this is very important that she clarifies that this is just her matter and she just wants a response, an answer that can help her continue with her life. And also, if mom is listening, mom can find way back to her. That's all. So if your mom comes now, what?
I don't want her to come.
Oh, you don't want her to come now? Okay, you talk. Yes.
Let me just put this out because a lot of comments were coming. You're looking for who is not looking for you and all that. I've been hurt. I've been in pains. I've been rejected, you know. But I just wanted to find closure. Not like I was looking out for who wasn't looking out for me. Some people were like, this girl is not weary. This girl is this. Someone even made a comment and she said, this is exactly a perfect example of feed a dog, something like that. That is how the person put it. And you know, the dog will not be appreciative. Your stepmom did a lot of things for you and you're still looking at, no. I'm not trying to
compare your mom and your stepmom.
I'm not trying to. There's one thing I want to say, because when I was 9 years old, she came. She came to the village. So I'm not trying to bring her back into our lives. This is somebody I've put in effort for. I know very well that she might have gone through her own scars. That maybe, you know, I might be a source of remembrance. Whenever she sees me, she may remember that, oh, this is what I've been through.
So she was wounded sometime, maybe in your father's relationship with her.
Probably, yes. She might have been wounded. But I'm not talking about my dad and hers, their relationship. I'm talking about myself. I don't care what has transpired from 1994 till 2003. But where my anger is you knew your way to my dad's village. You came from Kaduna to my dad's village without any call. So you knew your way. You knew your way around Imo State. You knew your way around my village. And then you came. And then surprisingly, that was the day me and my dad's sister traveled. I saw her. I didn't know who she was. The whole village gathered. They were asking me, do you know who this person is? I say no. They will say, oh, someone will be crying. I was like, what kind of dramatic section is this? So I met my grandmom. And I was asking her, saying, Mama, this one looks like you. She's beautiful. Who is she? My grandmom said, so you don't know her? I said, I don't know her. She now said, okay, she's my sister's child. You know, it was just like a dream come true when my cousin finally called me out and said, you don't know her? That's your mom. That is your mom. And I ran out, went to meet her. I hugged her. I was so happy. So I asked her, so are you back? She said, yes. So I'm holding her by her words. I asked her, are you back? She said, yes. So just that short period of time, I won't lie to you, she showed me the love a mother should show. Like, she will cover me with blankets, she will cuddle me. That was all the love I was looking out for. That was the kind of, like, the fantasy I've already created in my head. So she was doing that for that 2 weeks she was there. You know, sometimes I'll ask her. But something happened when my family members called for a meeting. See, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but my family loves my mom. My dad's family, they love the air she breathes. Because I've seen my grandmom. My grandmom was very sick when she left. She was sick to the point that she wanted to die. That was the kind of love she had for her.
If you look at such a woman, you can see there's apparently a wound in her soul. She would have been wounded some sort. So she must have had a story. If your grandmom kind of loved her, and the whole neighborhood, the village, the compound, actually, maybe where your dad came from, they loved her. So it's something, actually, one would say, let's find out if she was hurt in any way that made her take a decision never to look back, because women don't just do things. Sometimes they can keep telling you, I'm telling you about this, you need to change, and all that. But once they make a decision, it's like they can't go back to it. They can't go back anymore. So the fact that she just walked away, that means she must have been wounded. And you can imagine a woman walking away and not caring about her daughter anymore. It's like an ultimatum given at that moment that as soon as I step out of this house, I'm not coming back. That must have been a deep wound in her heart. But like you said, it's not about what transpired in the relationship between your dad and your mom. It's about you now fully grown. You're 31 years and you were once a teenager. She was not there, and then you went into your 20s and then you delivered. So you are saying, even if you have any challenge with my father, that can be put aside. What about me, that is now the grown me, that is actually related to you blood-wise? You are my mom. And I'm not saying I don't want you. I'm showing you the whole emotion, and to let you know that I want to embrace you in my life. I want you to be part of my life, but you're not giving me a positive response to that. So that's actually why you asked a question: what will I do at this level, when you have tried several ways to reach out to your mom to show that level, even to show that commitment, even just to say, hello, how are you doing? Are your children okay? Which are her grandchildren now? Are they all right? How are they? Those are the things that she is expecting, not anything. Because a lot of people, when they saw that video, comments were like, you're looking for money, you're not looking for money. We're having a conference themed Hearts and Scars. It's about the wounds in people's hearts, and money is not related. It's about that wound in people's hearts. So that's what we're looking at.
Okay. I know when she came, the family members knelt. My great-grandfather of blessed memory now knelt down on his knees and said, we are not asking you to marry our son, but we are begging you to be involved in this girl's life. Because I know I was very close to my great-grandfather before he died. So on several occasions, I have come to him to cry, where I went out to play, and then my peers, mm-hmm. Yes, they in fact, if you just want to just weaken me, just tell me, do you know who your mother is? I'll just go and enter my shell. I've come to him, I've cried, so he knew the kind of pain I went through. So he was begging. I said, just come and be visiting. Mm-hmm. You can now, you know our village. Just be involved. We're not telling you to stay back. Since we begged you to stay back, but you said no. We're not begging you to stay back.
Let me ask: is she married?
Yes, she's married.
Okay.
I don't know if she was married then.
Okay.
I don't know, but
now she's married.
I've communicated with her husband before.
Okay, yeah, you said.
I had a very good line of communication with her husband, and I would tell you of a fact that he's a good man.
Okay.
Yes, because while I was in school, in fact, my mom is not aware that I wrote WAEC 4 times, but she's my mom. I call her every day. Sometimes she will not want to talk to me. Sometimes she will just. I just wanted us to have a good relationship. Mother-daughter relationship. There, yes. Even if she's there, I just wanted us to just once in a while call. I don't want her to come back and remain in my life, But my stepmom has always been there. I won't lie to you. God has been faithful. And
talk about your stepmom a little bit. So this whole quest to look for your mom's.
She initiated it.
Oh wow!
Yes. My dad got married to her in 2008. So she was the one that, I used to ask questions a lot in church. I attended Redeemed Christian Church of God. So during Digging Deep or Tuesday Bible studies, when they're talking about forgiveness, because I wanted to be sure that I had forgiven her. because when they talk about, when I remember her, I feel hurt. So I wanted to be sure that hurt I'm feeling is not unforgiveness. But it took me time to know that I'm a human being. Of course, I can't just forget this forgive and forget thing. I don't think it
No,
works.
you actually forgive, but forgetting is because it's a memory installed in your brain. But then you can't live in denial of what you experienced in your past life. But you can forgive and learn over time to love without being pained. That there are two things there. You can remember what someone did in the past that hurts you so much. That's why we talked about scars, hearts and scars, because the hearts of people, they always get hurt. But then that you forgive people, you let them go so you can actually be healed. Because when you don't let them go, they form, it's just like you're pained in your heart. And some of these things, many people do not know that it will lead to you having high BP, pressured, stressed. Stress is one of the most common situations that inflict diseases on people. Like for instance, when you're stressed, even the medical doctors will tell you, try and avoid stress. Try and avoid stress. If you're on your way to healing, you get a bed rest. All those things is just to avoid stress. So when you have a situation like this, or people remember their past that hurt them so much and keep remembering, you put yourself in a place that you're too stressed to even get healed. But if you forgive, you're on the path of getting healed.
Okay, I was asking that question so that I can be healed. So one of the days I asked sorry, I won't use the word step again. Whenever I say my mom, you just know the original one I'm talking about.
No, for people to understand, we're talking about.
I don't want to use the word step.
She's so close to you now that it's not a step matter.
I don't want to use the word stepmom.
Okay.
I don't want to address her as my stepmom. So whenever I say my mom, just know that I'm talking about my stepmom.
Stepmom.
Yes. So, I used to ask that question and she'll be in church. I want to first of all thank her. Mommy, thank you so much for bringing me close to God. My childhood, I don't know, maybe I would have given birth to 5 children in the house without getting
a normal marriage.
I want to thank her. I want to thank her so much because she made sure that she carried me to any church, in fact any program. I never missed my teenage time was one of the best times of my life because I served God. When I say I served God genuinely because she was there to coach me. My grandmom was also there to coach me. My grandmom taught me a lot about family dynamics, how to manage a home. She taught me a lot that I've taken it into my husband's house, and then most times you wonder, you say you did not live with your mother, how did you learn all these things? But I want to thank my mom because one of the days when I was asking that question, after the pastor answered me, I didn't get the satisfaction I wanted. So when I got home, she sat me down and then, she preached that day as if we were in church. Wow. And then she now told me that I should bring my hand. She prayed with me and told me that I should just stop asking questions, that God will heal me. And then she said one of the steps, because at that point I took a break. I was not contacting my mom in Kaduna again. So she said, in fact, if I'm saying I'm making effort, she was behind that effort because at some point I became bitter. In fact, if you mention that I look like a northerner, I might even fight you. It was that bad and it's not as if that period I didn't want anybody to address me. Anywhere I go, are you outside?
Yes,
you look like them, you have their look. I say, God forbid, I would just reject
because of what your mom,
because
did.
of the hurt. Yes, I hated. There's one thing Igbo people used to call Ewausa. So if you just address me as Aturu Hausa or something like that. It was something that was not good for me. But my mom was the one that coached me, and she said, reach out to her again. Then if she doesn't agree, just know that the fault is not from you. Okay. She was the one that followed me.
So for me, I can say stepmom. So your stepmom said, okay, you should reach out to your mother, and then you started again.
I started again.
Trying to reach out.
Stopped. And within those period I stopped, she never tried to reach out.
Okay.
She never tried to reach out to me. So
Okay.
she was the one that encouraged me, that it seems like I still have unforgiveness. I should not go to hell because of her. She preached a lot, and then she wanted me to go back. So right before her, I called. Most times when I'm calling her, she'll be like, is it your mommy that you're calling? I'm like, what kind of a human being is this? You know, even when I wanted to get married, she was the one that followed me to Aba and picked the outfit, the wrapper she picked for my mom was 40,000 naira above the one she picked for herself, and I said it was not going to happen. So I had to pick the same grade for all of them. So she was like, no, she's your mom, oh, don't worry, just pick this one, you know. And I said no. But I'm so surprised that when I reached out to my mom in Kaduna, she was asking me the grade of the wrapper I picked instead of asking me
how do you feel?
Not
where
even
can
how.
I
In fact,
help?
that period of my wedding was like as if they sent her to attack me, because every moment she would call me, who is taking the bride price, princess? Will I be there when they're taking the bride price? It was just traumatic for me.
I know. Okay, let's not go there. Let's ask, there's a question here. Let's talk about this question. How did the knowledge of your mother's absence and the reason for it shape your sense of self, your identity? I know you have talked about, when you were talking, you talked about identity crisis and what your peer folks, what they were doing, your peers, and the challenge that you have. Now that you have known this, I'm sure you're forming a paradigm in your life, and you're making decisions in your life. Now that you're grown as a believer, are you going to hold this pain against her? And then how have you helped yourself to have that self-esteem and focus on the people that love you? Why still searching for her? So I want to know the depth of that influence from the situation.
First of all, I'm not even searching for her. I'm doing all these
Again,
things. No, I'm not for years now. I'm not searching for her. I just wanted to be able to call her without feeling any hurt or anything. Like, hello, how are you doing? Fine. Oh, okay. Yeah. I said, let me check on you. Finish. That was what I just wanted. Yes.
So it's not like you're looking for money.
I'm not searching for her, like her love. I have a lot. In fact, the love I have is too much. God's love. I have the love of my husband, the love of my dad, the love of my mom, the love of my grandma, my aunties, and my uncles. I have a lot of love.
Yes, but you're saying that, okay, since this is your real mom,
I just wanted to have a relationship. For blood's sake.
Yes, that you need to have a relationship, with her. So it's not like you're demanding something that is unusual in her life. Okay.
I wasn't doing that. I just want to thank God. I want to thank God because it has really helped me to know that so many people out there might be smiling, but they're going through a lot.
Yes.
It has helped me to be kind in my speech, because nobody will know. Some persons in the comment section, some of my secondary school classmates, they were like, Princess is a very good girl. She has a good heart. I didn't know you went through this. Oh my God, And some persons were like, oh, no wonder sometimes she used to be moody. But I'm a very free spirit person. I just had to find the love of Christ, in the midst of everything. I felt I was not loved, but I just knew that the love of Christ was above every other kind of love I would get from anybody. So I just had Holy Spirit as my companion. My grandmom, her love was enough for me and my dad.
Wow, that's powerful. I like the last word. I mean, the love of the Holy Spirit and the love of God, enveloped you, and you were able to feel better.
Yes.
And you were able to know that you are actually loved from the teaching gotten from the word, that God is a God of love and God is love, and knowing that he actually loved you and is real to you. But then again, there are other people around you, your aunties, your dad, your stepmom, they all love you. Like she said, she just wanted to have that gap between she and her mom bridged. It's not a money issue, but just to have a communication with her mom, and that is it. And if God wants to make it deeper, if God, whatever it will be like, but just to have that gap bridged. But she's still on her way of healing. She's still on the way to being healed, isn't it?
Yes,
or are you already, have a closure to it?
I'm healed now.
Okay.
I'm healed now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's totally healed but you just wanted the gap bridged,
Yes.
and then being able to flow with your mom, and which is what every natural person will want in a home. You want to communicate with your dad and communicate with your mom. And she mentioned that sometimes you see people on the road, or you see people within an organization, in the office, or even in the school. She was mentioning that we shouldn't see people and just mock them. You know, we should be empathetic with people. You should be able to put yourself in the person's shoes and empathize with their feelings, with their pain, and what they're going through, rather than see people and you want to mock them, you want to compete with them, you want to accuse them. They are not even noticing you. Meanwhile, they are dealing with their own pain, but you're saying, oh, this person doesn't care for me. So there's everybody out there, you know that some people are going through one thing or the other, and it's for you to know how to flow with people, at least understand their situation, care for them, speak to them. A smile to them can help, you know, smiling, and then also sharing your own joy. Even if this person is in pain and you're sharing your own joy with them, it is better than seeing people and making comments or judging them without knowing who they are and knowing what they are passing through. And I would say this is heart-to-heart session with Dr. Stephanie. My word for you is try and be empathetic with people. Love them, care for them, rather than judge them. See you.